night, day, wherever you are, it does not matter. Okay. If not, do understand your life and day is going to get better once your perception gets better. I was just here. It's so funny how the universe will like sometimes you just come across certain things, right? So I was on somebody YouTube page, and one of the things that this person was talking about was basically galactic law, meaning that you know how in the Simpsons, like you watch this stuff and on the Simpsons, and it seems like everything that they predict, it comes true, right? And it's also so funny because the other day I was watching this guy named I think Lindsay, and he was working with the elite, okay? And one of the things that he had said was like while he was, and he was a pastor, one of the things he had said was while he was working, with the elite and stuff like that, one of the ways they don't get the karma back is because it's like they have to tell you exactly what's going to happen before they do anything. For instance, right, when I first came across consumer law, right, and sometimes like when we find information out, you can be upset. Like you can be like, "Oh my goodness, like, somebody people took advantage of me." But is it really that they took advantage of you, or is it because you didn't read the information? Like if you didn't read the contract, like who do you blame for that? Right? And you guys hear me say a lot that everything is about taking accountability. The reason being is because once you start taking accountability of your life is going to change. We supposed to get a lesson from everything that we tend to do, from everything that tends to show up in our lives. We supposed to learn from those things, okay? Also, what you have to understand as well is this. So, I remember where was I gonna go? Oh, so for instance, right? Say for instance we see like cigarettes. Take this as an example. And you see on the cigarettes it says may cause cancer. Like so who do you blame if you decide to indulge into smoking and is a caution sign that's on the cigarettes, right? That says may cause cancer. Like who do you blame if you still indulge into that? Right? So then it becomes you start looking at yourself and start saying, well, I chose free will. Okay. I have chosen to indulge into this. And so whatever happens, and I think a lot of this, it really, really has to do with self love. And it's so funny how the connection is starting to come like full circle because sometimes when we going through stuff and growing through stuff, the universe is showing us, and I always say this, the universe is always reflecting back to us how we are showing up in our lives. And back to the contract, right? When it comes to consumer law. So if I don't read the contract, right? Like if I'm so excited about just being in a vehicle because it's new, because I want to show it off or whatever it is, and I'm in a rush, right? Who fault is it if the contract is faulty or the contract is a certain type of way? It becomes my responsibility. If I would have took the time out to read the contract, okay? And that's one of the reasons why I say if you get the lesson, you don't repeat the course. So if you look at it like, all right, well, now I'm reading, now I'm gonna enforce, my rights and stuff like that, then you wouldn't be taken advantage of because now it's like, all right, although this contract say whatever it says, but I read the contract and I see that the contract is 40, and then so do you still sign your name on the dotted line? That's the question. Another question is this. If we love ourselves, Okay, so much. It's certain things that we would not go through. Let me say it again. Self-love, practicing, because practicing self-love is a ongoing task. Okay, it's an ongoing task. But practicing and really um embodying. Okay, one second, family. Javon. Hey Danielle, peace to you, baby. Peace to you, peace to you. Thanks for the support. um, so I just really wanted to talk about taking accountability. Um, because our lives, and it's so funny. Um, That's right. That's right. I like that, Tracy. Okay. Okay. That's right. Get that paint on. Okay. All right. Um, but what made me talk about this topic tonight was this. Sometimes you could put stuff into the universe and you can say, well, I want clarity, right? Like I want clarity. I remember, once upon a time I was talking to my sister, right? And one of the things she said to me, she was saying like, the people that, you know, the 1%, okay? Well, I don't even want to say the 1% elite, but the ones that, do like put all the stuff on, the ones that control the media and, things of that nature, right? I remember I was talking to my sister and she was like, well, why do these people get away with it, right? And she was saying like, why do the stuff that they do, why do they tend to get away with it? Like, why is there no karma for them, right? For the the ones that control the media, controls the new, everything, right? um and I didn't really know what to say. Like I just was like, everybody, we all have karma, right? We all have karma. If you do something, there's a cause and an effect. But one of the things that I have learned this past week and last week, how they put stuff in movies, right? Like certain signals in movies, like you watch the movie and you be like, oh my goodness, I don't know about you guys, but I always used to feel like, how do they come up with this storyline? Like, whatever it is, right? Like, how do they come up with a storyline? And one of the things that I started realizing was because since they are the ones that's controlling the media, that's how they come up with the storyline. And so, is it they fault for, you know, whatever tends to happen? Say, for instance, if by you putting something in your body, right? Like you see, I don't know if you guys remember this movie. What was it? The not the night. It was. I think it was called like Snatcher. Was it Body Snatchers? When I was a kid. Okay, I remember it was a movie called Body Snatchers, right? And body snatchers, they pretty much turned into like zombies or something like that, right? Now, if you see this stuff on TV, say for instance, if you see a movie and you see like people are getting, certain things put in their bodies, okay? Certain things put in their bodies, okay? And you see that the people is dying, all right? And then all of a sudden, this thing, I don't know if you be putting two and two together, but this thing comes out. Do you look say, and that's why I say it always goes back to self-love. Like it always go back to self-love, because if you love yourself, it's certain things that you're not going to do. Like is certain. I used to say, no, that ain't true. That's not true. I love myself. That's not true. I love myself, but that's not true. I'm like making excuses for some of the stuff that I did, right? But getting back to it, who do you blame for this, right? Who do you blame? Okay. Okay, thank you. Who do you blame for this? If you see a carton of cigarettes, right? So free will, right? We all have free will. Free will do not exempt us from the laws of the universe though, right? Free will. Now, if you go inside a store and get some cigarettes, right? And first of all, you hear what the cigarettes do. They say the cigarettes do this, right? They call it whatever, right? And then you go to the store and buy those cigarettes and continue to smoke the cigarettes. But before you open them, on the package of the cigarette, it say caution. Okay, it says caution, may cause cancer or whatever it is, right? Which we all heard what Dr. Sabi said. Okay, just FYI, okay? We all heard what Dr. Sabi said. Okay. Um, but just say, you see that. Who fuck do you blame for you having cancer? And this is what I say. This is when accountability. You taking accountability of your life. You taking responsibility of your life. You saying, you saying, you know what? Like, how could I do better? Right? And that's my ultimate goal. Like, how can I do better than what I did yesterday? Okay, like how can I do better? Like earlier, what my youngest children, right? My youngest son, I had when I tell him to take the garbage out, he be like he don't be wanting to take it out, right? And he'll say to me, he'll say, like I say, take the garbage out. He'll say, why can't you take it out? Like he'll say that. And I started looking and I started saying, but when you ask me for stuff, right? This is exactly what I started feeling. I said, but goddamn, you be asking me for stuff. We go to the store, you be, and instantly, you know what I did when I went in the bathroom? I was talking to myself. Okay, I talked to myself. I said, Dino, that's your fault. That's your fault. The reason it's your fault is because you give and give and give, okay, all right, and that's not self-love, okay, when you keep on giving and you see, like, and that's my son, right? But you see, like, he don't be wanting to do stuff, okay, so then who do you blame? Do you keep on saying, well, I give you all of this, or do you say, you know what, I'm gonna start cutting back? Accountability. accountability accountability. And so, always you always have to do what works for you. But the reason I really wanted to do this video is, as long as we give our power to saying, well, this person took advantage of me, this person did this to me, this person did that to me, our lives will never change. Okay, like it won't change until we start saying, but what did I do? Like, how was my role? Like, what role did I play in this? Okay, and once you start seeing like the role that you played in it, and you really get the lesson, you're not gonna repeat the course. Why? Because like I said about my youngest son, right? And instead of me feeling some type of way, it's like, oh no, when you ask me for all this stuff, and I would be just getting it for you and stuff like that. Now let me do some cutting back. And then sometimes I go do this thing like, well, is that codependency? Like, I do this, I scratch up, and you do this or whatever. But I don't think it is. I think what it is just a mutual respect thing. I think is a demonstration of, self-love. I think what it is also is, you letting the person know, like, the same energy you put out, like I am going, and I know, right? Like, oh, don't match it, but the same energy you put, like, I'm not gonna over exceed. I'm not gonna overextend myself. Okay, I'm not gonna do that. And then sometimes we have to ask ourselves, like, why do we do some of the things that we tend to do? Like, even though we see it's not working for us, like that's a conversation that, oftentimes, like me, I have to have with myself. Like when it comes to my children, like why do you, Dina, why do you feel like, like you gotta do all this, like, oh, bye, like why do you, you know and I don't have an issue with the buying part, but the issue becomes like, I remember with my two other children, my mother always used to say, you give them too much. You give them, I'm not making it, no. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. But I'm hungry. Eat a salad. What kind of salad? The salad that's in there. Yeah, but that's not gonna help me. That will help you. That's actually food as opposed to that. And she used to say, like, I do, like, you get them too much. You get them too much. And I just looked at it like, I think with my oldest children, it was like, well, if I give you, and probably with my youngest children too, like the more I give you, the more you love me. And it's like is really the programming. The programming. So that's something I know within myself. Like, oftentimes we like, well, it's easier to do certain things like to strangers. Like this whole journey that I'm on, and when I had my, became aware of, some of the things that I often do, right? And I'm no victim, okay? But I started becoming aware of some of the things that I do is really about, sometimes you could be like, well, I'm over this, I done grew out of this or whatever it is, and then it shows its face again, okay? And that's like the journey. But once you really get the lessons, right? And you guys hear me talk about boundaries. Once you get the lesson, you definitely won't repeat the course again. It's so crazy because I was talking about one thing and I got off topic talking about this. Um, yeah, but with that being said, family, let me go and see what they in there doing. Make sure you guys rocking out, believing in yourselves, and when things are showing up, take accountability of your life. That's like where all your ultimate power is. You taking accountability for what's showing up in your life. And that's the only thing that you can change, you can fix is your life. Anything outside your existence, it really doesn't matter but what you give energy to. And with that being said, I love you guys. Peace.